Na, 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 na. Ooh, a mother is bawling, yeah. A father is crying too. Na, 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 na,
I think we're about to have another caller.
Ooh.
The question of discipline is very important, ladies and gentlemen. But let me tell you something about discipline. Discipline is supposed to do two things. Number one, discipline is supposed to teach. And number two, discipline is supposed to guide. As Dr. Smith also says very often, you cannot teach what you do not know, nor can you give what you do not have. So before you are able to teach discipline, you have to do what? Learn discipline. Unfortunately, a lot of us grew up in structures where discipline is something of an afterthought. That discipline is something that no one takes very seriously. Do not even understand how it really works. And then you have a child at an early age, and all of a sudden, you have a driver's license to drive a car, you get a test, you do a written test, you do a verbal test, and you go out and you drive. But then you have a baby, and you have another baby, you're 16, 17, 18. You're not given any training about discipline or anything of that sort, and you expect to do what is right. Discipline is supposed to teach. But if you are able, you can only teach what you know. So if you know what you know is abuse, or what you know is to be able to spank people and to show your anger out of them, guess what? That is what you're going to teach. And guess what? That's what your children will be doing. Discipline is also supposed to guide. What does that mean? Monkey see, monkey do. Don't do as I do as I say. Some people will use the word baloney, but that's not what you put in the sandwich. It just means it's not true. Well, if you're supposed to guide in the form of discipline, when you bit a child, sometimes when I had a young man who come to me and explain to me how his mother used a pipe and bit him, who used a hose and bit him, how are you guiding your child? You're teaching them violence. That's what you're doing. We have a next caller. Caller, thank you for calling.
Hello, I'm calling. Hello?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for calling. Say thank you for calling.
I feel that you should spare the child sometime, but sometime I think it's important that we do use discipline and not just time out.
Thank you, ma'am, for your contribution. You're absolutely right. Sometimes, as Patrice said, sometimes you have to do a little more than time out. My little 2-year-old, she gets time out. When she was a year and something, she got a minute and a half. Now she's 2 years old, so guess what? She gets 2 full minutes, and she knows what that cheer means. She even knows what the word timeout means. And I tell you, if I tell her she will get to sit on that chair, she'll go on timeout. She starts to adjust her behavior already at that age. Patrice herself gets the timeout. The timeout is intended for you to think. And ladies and gentlemen, let me give you a bit of a history about timeout. You may have heard about the Quakers in Pennsylvania. They believed in utilitarianism. That means the greater good for the greatest number. They were actually some of the beginning organizers for the penitentiary. The penitentiary, the jail, the prison industrial complex as it's come out to be. Its history was not about locking up a bunch of black men and brown men disproportionately and sending them back to the community with a felony. No, the idea of a penitentiary was so that people are able to be penitent. Penitent means to think about their wrongdoings, to think about their sins. And the Quakers thought that the best way to be penitent is to sit in a box or to sit in isolation by yourself. You do not have the external factors that are affecting your mind, affecting your body. So a jail, a prison was a place that people go to be penitent. In a similar way, a timeout is similar way that we're trying to get young persons, depending on their age, to sit and think about the consequences of your action. I did a movie, Lessons from Homicides, the Buffalo Story, and a lot of the guys who did the killing of the people in the caskets never thought about the consequences. Ladies and gentlemen, your mind changes cycle 4 times a second. So guess how many times you can change your mind about doing something wicked in a minute? And we have to teach our children to be patient. That is part of what timeout does. Of course, timeout is not sufficient, but then you can do other things. Delay gratification, and those are the types of things. I happen to believe that violence begets violence, and if I tell my children do not be violent and do not put their hands on anyone, and I put my hand on them, I need to check myself. I need to find another way of being able to communicate to them. Do you agree?
Yes.
Oh, of course. She doesn't want to get on timeout. You think that's why she agrees? No, you see? It's a free country. The child can speak a mind. Now, Patrice, what do you think parents should do to get their children to listen to them?
Well, you should pay attention. The most important thing is to pay attention. Really.
The parent has to pay attention.
Yes.
So, that's an interesting point. If we're asking our children to listen, and we are saying that we guide and teach them, if we are not good listeners, how good listeners will our children be? So Patrice is saying that if you want your children to be able to listen to you, you as a parent also need to be able to be a good listener to teach them. Is that what you're saying, Patrice?
No.
No. Okay. Well, then what are you saying then?
I'm saying that you have to pay attention to make sure they don't actually do a mistake.
Oh, okay. So you're saying that when you listen to the children, you have to listen to them carefully to understand, to make sure that you understand them correctly. Now, what do you think? Do we have a caller? Caller, thank you for calling.
Hello?
Yes, caller.
Hi. This is Aunt Vita.
Ah, it sounds like a familiar voice. Wow, Aunt Vita.
Hello, Patrice. Nice
Hi.
to see you there. I'm really enjoying you.
Thanks.
I wanted to say that, Peter, I really got an aha moment just now with your explanation of penitentiary.
Yes.
Okay, I've never been one who allocated the guidelines of time out, but I can definitely see where that came from.
Thank you.
And Patrice, I think it's saying something either for you or for your mama and daddy or for all three of you that you didn't even know what a spanking was. I mean, that's wonderful.
I do know what a spanking does.
She
But
wasn't
I
quite
also
sure.
thought that you're so intelligent that when he asked you, well, how do you think you would feel if you received a spanking, that you hit on some very real feelings on how people do feel when they receive a spanking. So I just want to say, Papa, you and my niece are right on target raising your children, so keep it up.
Thank you. Would you like to attend our workshop? The previous caller wanted us to do a workshop. Would you attend our workshop if we did one? She's gone. Well, maybe she'll give us the answer. And while I'm watching, I want to thank Mr. Conrad Hall, your grandfather, for, I know he's watching, Aunt Sharon, Aunt Mary Ellen. I got spanked, almost spanked, my words, for calling her a different name. Sorry, Aunt Mary Ellen. And Michelle Hall, our my mother-in-law, your grandmother, and my wife, Dr. Zarian St. Jean. We want to have Dr. St. Jean on the show one time to talk about, she's a family physician, to talk about taking care of children. You may have seen her on the morning news one of those days talking about the HPV virus and as it is to be administered to boys. And a lot of people have sent me questions about wanting to learn more about that. And hopefully we can have Dr. St. Jean join us here. Do we have another caller? Can you say caller? Thank you for calling.
Hi, I would like
Thanks
to
for
know
calling.
if the young lady ever disagrees with her parent, and how does she handle that?
The question is, do you disagree with your parents? Caller, are you still there? No? So the caller was asking, do you disagree with your parents sometimes?
I disagree sometimes.
You disagree? Speak out or speak up so they can hear you.
I disagree sometimes.
Like what? Like what are some of the things your parents do and you do not like?
I don't like it when they tell me to go to bed.
Don't like when you go to bed? Speak a little louder. And what else that you don't like?
I don't like when they tell me to do my homework.
Okay, and what else?
And I don't have anything else.
You said you don't like it when you go on time. Do you like going to timeout?
I don't go to timeout anymore. I don't.
Well, one of the things that this little lady here disagrees with us about is that she is tired when she is tired. She's never tired and she never wants to go to bed. She always disagrees that she's tired. Right? Caller, we have a quick moment. Caller?
Yes. How you doing, Dr. St. John?
Very good. That sounds like Warren.
My name is Warren Beard.
Warren, there you go, Warren. Yep.
And I wanted you to really speak on briefly about some of the different things that an individual who's coming home from incarceration can do to be a better parent, to reestablish their relationship that may have been broken from the time gone away, because there's going to be an influx of individuals coming home from prisons this year.
Right. Well, Mr. Beard, thank you so much. We are out of time. I will not be able to do this. Hopefully, I will touch on that on my on the show next week, and hopefully, Mr. Beard, you can join us to be a guest sometime. We can talk about that. Patrice, you have a final word to say to the audience? We have a very quick time. Say something finally to them.
This is what I want to say. I want to say thank you for everybody who called us. I I had a great time with the first time I came here, and it was a pleasure for me to be here, and thanks for inviting me.
You're very welcome. You see, ladies and gentlemen, we need to let our children play a very active role in our families. We need to listen to them. We need to understand how important it is to have them be vibrant parts of our family. We want to thank you for watching us. I'm your host, Dr. Peter K.B. St. Jean, criminologist, sociologist, the CEO of Quality of Life Solutions, here for Dr. George Smith of Diversified Behavioral Comprehensive Care. We'll see you next time. Thank you very much for watching.
Thanks very much for watching too.
A brother is crying too. Mama is well known in the neighborhood. All her friends gathered when they heard the news to give their support anyhow they could. They said, be strong, Mildred. We know that's not how you raise your children. She looked them straight in the eyes. She just broke down and just could not hold back her tears. You heard the neighbors. She never raised him, she never raised him, she never raised him so. Somewhere along the line her son got messed up, you know. She clothed him, she feed him, she watch him every day, but she talk to